Lily, and this is Lily's Crafty Nest. Hey guys, I am so happy to be back, and I know that I had been missing in action and that I had promised you guys that I was going to be posting a video every week for Christmas, but unfortunately that wasn't possible because I had a lot of things going on in my life. And I know I said that in my previous video, but it was part of the same. So now I'm back and I have a great tutorial, but in order for me to do that, because it is a Christmas tutorial, I have to get into the Christmas spirit. Yes, there. Now I can tell you all about today's tutorial. I love receiving candles for Christmas, and that's exactly what I'm going to be teaching you how to do. I'm going to teach you how to do a yummy, fragrant soy candle. This one I named Christmas Wreath, and it smells just like Christmas, or like a pine tree. There's actually a science in doing candles where you go ahead and you measure or you weigh your wax, the types of wax that you use, if you're using paraffin or if you're using soy. There's also equipment that you may use to melt your candle with boiling water underneath. And there's also thermometers and the type of wicks that you use and the size of your container that you're using, all of that. But we're not going to do that today. I'm going to teach you how to do an easy candle that's going to smell really nice, and it's fairly easy to do. You can pick up all of the things that you need at your local Michael's, Joann's, or any of those craft stores, or if you want, do what I did. I bought it through Amazon, but I don't think if you're going to do this for Christmas, you're going to have time. So you may want to go ahead and run it to your Michael's or any craft stores. And I'm also going to teach you how you can go ahead and make beautiful labels. I'm going to use my Cricut machine, but you can actually create these things. You can even download labels that you may find on the internet. I'm going to teach you how to create it because of course I'm a Cricuteer, so therefore I'm going to go ahead and use my Cricut to teach you how to make beautiful one-of-a-kind labels that you can go ahead and place in your container that are going to make them look so unique and that you took your time to make these. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. And if you want to be reminded every time I post a new video, go ahead and click on the little bell. So, without further ado, let's get crafting. For this tutorial, you'll need the following supplies: soy wax, measuring cup, liquid, regular measuring cups, glue gun and glue sticks, fragrance oils, wicks, and glass jars. These candles I'm making on 4-ounce mason jars. You'll grab your wick and you will add a little bit of the glue gun glue to the bottom of each and place it in the center of them. It's really hard to get in there, so you can use a pen or a pencil to help you stick it to the bottom of each of your mason jars. You repeat the process until you complete all of them. Off camera a little bit here, sorry guys. But you see what I'm doing. And it's best to do this before you start anything else. I forgot to mention at the beginning where I gave you my supply list that I use skewers, and this was to use for holding up the wick. You just take any skewers and you break them a little bit bigger than the diameter of your container. And what I also did was add a little bit of hot glue to 2 of the sticks. That way it would prevent them from rolling off the jar. And you go ahead and make several of these, as many as you need, and just add them to your container and put the wick through it and make sure that the wick remains straight. And you finish all of them like that. Then I went ahead and I got this cup to help me measure the wax and place into my 4-cup container, which will give you approximately a pound of the wax. And then what you do once you have that measured, you put it into your microwave and just melt a little bit at a time. I'm not going to tell you for how long because not all microwaves are the same. And it should look like this, very liquidy. And if you see that you need to melt it more, just add like 10-second intervals. Then you're ready to put in your fragrances. To a pound of melted soy wax, you should add 1.5 ounces of fragrances. I didn't unfortunately have that. These bottles are 0.33, I think. So I ended up using, for a pound, 2 bottles. I combined 2 fragrances, and that was great. The second time around, I decided that I was going to just do half of the pound, or half a pound, and add 1 bottle of fragrance per half a pound. That way I had more variation. And then all you do is you start pouring them into your containers, a little bit at a time, with a slow stream. That way you avoid having bubbles or any holes that may form on your candle once it sets. And repeat the process over again of melting your waxes, adding your fragrances, etc. Once you're done pouring them, put them aside, and it takes a couple of hours before they solidify. Sometimes if they're bigger, it could take even up to a day. And then what you do is you just cut the wick off like about 1/4 of an inch, and that way you can go ahead and add your lid without bumping, the wick bumping with the lid. And you continue doing that until you have all of them. It smells so good here right now. I wish we had what is it, smell-o-vision or smell-o-video? I don't know. Anyway, this is what they look like once you're done. Then you grab your lids and you start putting them together, placing a lid on top of each. Make sure that if you made several fragrances that you keep them separate, unless you're coloring them, and that way you know what fragrance is what. I kept them all white. That's material for another video, how to color your wax, but we're not going to do that now. So just keep your fragrances separate. That way it's easier later on when you're actually adding the labels. They smell and look so darn cute. To design our labels, we're going to go into Design Space, create a new project, and then go into images and look for what we want. I'm looking for wreaths. So I'm going to go ahead and select the wreaths that I like and bring them into the canvas. And I may or may not use all of these. It all depends. I'm just kind of playing around with it right now. And these look nice. So then I'm going to go ahead and make a circle the size of the lid, which is approximately, actually not approximately, it's exactly 2 inches. So I'm going to make that circle that size, so that way I can size the wreaths or whatever elements I want to fit into this. So yeah, let's go ahead and add that there, and that actually looks super cute. So then duplicate them or triplicate them, as many as you need. I'm doing 3 designs because I'm right now making only 3 fragrances, and I want the labels to be different for these. And you go ahead and size them until you have them all the way that you want them to look. So I'm not really sure about this little thing here, but let's see. I think it's a little bit too big for the circle. And then what you do is you highlight all of them and align them. Make sure that they're perfectly centered. You do that for all 3. And there. And just adjust it so you can see it closer by making it bigger. Zoom in. And then I'm going to look for a phrase now. Something saying Merry Christmas, so I don't have to type it up, etc., etc. And they have beautiful designs, so I select the ones that I want. That doesn't mean I'm going to use all of them, because you just have to see what works. So I'm going to pick maybe 3 or 4 and bring them into my canvas, and then see what I can do with these. That one is too colorful. This one is super cute. Merry Christmas. Where should I put it? I think that would work there, and it gives me ample space so I can put something on the bottom. So you just play around with it and make it look whichever way you want. You can make this as intricate or as simple as you like. And then I'm just putting here, from Iggy and Lily, which is my husband and I, because I'm actually making these for some of his co-workers. Try finding a font that's legible even if it's tiny, because remember, these are very small. So I played around and I found a font that I like, and I think it's a Cricut font, so you don't have to actually pay for it. Then this I'm getting rid of because I don't like it. I prefer this one for one of my scents, and I think this is adorable. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate the From Iggy and Lily. That way I don't have to type it again, and just place it on my third label. And there you go. You size it and make it look the way you want it to look. Then you're going to select all of them, and then this is where the magic happens. You flatten them so you can print them and cut them as just one piece. You flatten that one. That's why they look like that. You don't see the label, but it's there. And then you do that to all three, and voila, you have stickers now. And by the way, I forgot to mention, I use sticker paper to print these out. That way I mean, you could go ahead and print it on anything and then use some glue. Now I'm looking for a tag, and this I want it to be teeny tiny, so I'm going to resize this one. I'm going to make it a little bit shorter, and this is what I'm going to put with the name of the fragrance, because the other part that you saw, the circle, goes on top of the jar, but this I want to put on the side. So it's going to be teeny tiny, so it doesn't take away from the actual beautiful label. You're going to bring in a circle, and you're going to make it super small and place it on your tag, and then you're going to slice it, and that way you're making a hole where you can put your string through, and there you go. You now have a perfect tag. And then now we're gonna actually put the name on our tags of the fragrances that we're going to be using. I'm going to use 3, and I'm going to find again a font that works teeny tiny. So just play around with your fonts. You can place these on the tag horizontally, or you can make them vertically. However you want to make these, go ahead and do that. So play around with it and see what you want to do. You can place a little image on it. You can leave it like that. I wanted to leave it like that because I didn't want it to compete with the actual label, but I did want people to know what fragrances they were getting. So once you have one label, you just go ahead and duplicate it and repeat the process again, just changing the wording, and that's basically how you do these cute little labels. This one is peppermint, and you do the same exact thing. I have 4 here, but I really only used 3. I just made one extra in case I ruin them, because that can happen. And once I have it ready and centered and how I want it to look, I'm gonna flatten it again to make it a print and cut. If I was just cutting them, I didn't have to do that, but because I wanted the phrase to print on the label, this is what you do. You flatten it and you make it a print and cut. And we are ready. I'm gonna hide the tags for now, so that way when I send it to be printed, it only shows me the what I want to print, which is the labels. And here we go. And because I need more than just one of each, I'm going to make 4 rows and send it to print. Once printed, you put them to cut in your Cricut machine. Make sure you select the right material, and there you have it. Here are our jars. I also did the same with the little tags. I didn't show you because it's exactly the same process, and here they are. They're teeny tiny and they're cute. So this is the fun part. You take off each sticker and you place them on your jars, making sure you put the right label on the right fragrance, so they're all the same. You know, all of your peppermint should have the same label, all of your gingerbread should have the same label, etc. So when you're done, this is how they look. And now we're gonna go ahead and add our little tags. I kind of put them on top of them so that way I knew exactly what I was doing, because although these labels are different, they kind of look the same, and it can be really confusing. It doesn't take much to confuse me. And then what I did is I took this twine that I had, which is like it looks like a, what is it, candy cane sort of thing. So I thought that was good. You could either tie this on the actual bottle. I decided to tie it on the lid because it's so thin, and I wanted the little tag to show there. So nothing special. All you do is you put it around like about 3 times. You tie a little knot, and then you add your
tiny, see, that's how cute it looks. And then you add your tag. It has a very small hole, so it's kind of hard to put it through, but it's not impossible. And then you just make a little simple bow. You can make this really elaborate. You can add little pine needles, you can add berries. I just wanted them simple because I was going to make several of these. I actually made 20. I'm only showing you a couple here. Then I added a little dot of glue just to make sure that it wouldn't unravel.
Well, that's it, folks. I really hope you enjoyed this video. And if you do decide that you're going to go ahead and make these candles for some of your friends, teachers, or whoever it is that you want to make them for, please let me know by leaving me a comment below. And again, if you haven't yet, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much, and see you next week.